people are the children of Satan, the devil. Well, half of them might be, but that ain't none of my business here. When your glands are not awake, they enslave you to this planet. First thing you need to know about planet Earth and your nature, everything down here is an addiction. There is nothing on this planet that is not an addiction, including water and including air. If you want to know where all the addictions come from, you're trapped between the third dimension and the law of duality. That's human nature. That's third dimension nature. Everything on this planet leads to habit forming. If you want to know why you can't break all, and why the spiritual masters don't tell you that, because they know you're not going to be able to break all of the habits, that you're not going to escape all of the addictions. You can't do it from this human level. And why the great ones stayed in the mountains, so that they wouldn't become addicted to 89% of this garbage. So they got addicted to meditation. Everything down here is an addiction. It is impossible to be on planet Earth without some strong habit and some addictions. Some are better than others, is the key. You know, it'd be better to meditate 24 hours a day instead of smoking ganja 24/7. Though some brothers will not agree with me. Okay, we're still building towards this concept of the female goddess. Okay, now we can jump into, the five-pointed star. Now, the way you all, it's facing you all, that's of course the symbol of Satan the devil, right? That's what the theologians told everybody, you know, because the Eastern Star wears her star this way, if you've ever seen it, on the back of the car. You see how that is? See the goat's chin and the goat's horns and the goat's, right, okay. Well, that's wrong. The three things you need to know about stars. First of all, there is no five-pointed star in the heavens. There are 4 points, 8 points, 16 points. But there is a five-pointed star inside a Macintosh apple if you slice it horizontally, a perfect five-pointed star. There's a five-pointed fish in the ocean. There's a five-pointed geometric construct on several types of green leaves. This, symbolically, is what those 5 points represent. Man. This is what they represent in terms of translation. See that? Well, what do you see there? Read them out. Right. That's English. That is not Aleph Lam Lam Hamza. That's A-L-L-A-H, English. Okay? Are you overwhelmed yet? Because we ain't got to the book yet. Okay? But the code allows you to understand this level of hidden knowledge. There's the story form in this book, okay, that tells you about these varied people, what they were doing, something about their lives. Then in comes the Savior, and rescues them from their own foolishness. I'm forgetting how to spell it in English. Now, let me do this again. I like to do this. What does that word mean? Anybody? What do you think it means is what I should say. All right, that's exactly right. Exactly what they told you. That's a Latin derivative of testament. Testimenti. That's the meaning of testament. That's old mind, old body. New mind, new body. Okay. That's why you have an Old Testament and a New Testament. Okay. So we're a little bit closer to the acceptability and the believability of this idea of a goddess. A little bit better prepared than we were a few minutes ago, aren't we? Okay. Let's get back here to Esther's name here. Star is the soul, the illumined soul, not just the soul, but the illumined, expanded soul. In the Sufi knowledge, the Sufis point up when you ask them a question about greatness. They point up. That's all they do. Because up there are illumined souls. That's what you're looking at night. Nothing like us. Okay, we're nowhere near that. Okay, another kind of being that you can't even add human to. But that's what the Sufis say they are: illumined souls. Hence the word Son of God. Our sun is a star, you know. My intention is to overwhelm your common sense thinking. Queen Esther had all her relatives, the Jews, spiritual thoughts. That's a concept Fillmore stopped at. Join her in a fast. This means that she must deny all selfish desires out of our love before we use it in softening the imperious will. When this consciousness of love stands in the inner court of our being, we cannot help acceding to its demands. Unselfish love is fearless because of its forgetfulness of self. Will divides its dominion with love when approached in the right attitude, which is by touching the highest point of the understanding, the top of the golden scepter. That is not what that means. Understanding of divine law is the one necessary thing in all permanent unions. When we know the truth, we all are one, and there is no separation whatever. I agree with that. We're not acting like. Here's the quest. Be ye perfect, even as the Heavenly Father is perfect, is an axiom, a wise saying. If we are perfect, and according even to the physiologist, your body is already perfect. And if your nature, your divine nature is perfect, then what's the problem? Because we certainly are not behaving like perfect beings. Then there can only be one other problem. Your brain doesn't know it. Your brain can only do what your brain knows. Hence, the exceptional child and the average child. The exceptional child's brain functions on a higher level than the ordinary child's brain. But they both have brain. See, that's a part of the cultivating. Educare, educo, educate, draw out, in order to get the excellency from your children. See? You don't need to trade him in for a better model. He has his potential, his greatness. Is helping him find it, or helping her find it, is the key there. Okay, I got to get this other, because I wore out page 1 on that particular book there. Okay, let me find this page here before I get on this. I won't have to stop and turn to it. Oh, there's the star I was talking about. That's how you're born. Head and arms first. That's how you come into the world. That's why the stars turn in that direction. That's human birth. When it's turned this way, that's divine birth, head towards the heavens. Okay, that's what that means. This does not mean Satan the devil. Okay, that's your head. That's how you come out of the womb into the world. Of course, for some, it has been coming into hell. That's how you get to heaven. In spiritual resurrection, that is, the head precedes the feet in being raised up. Okay. Now, let me interject this. I am not promoting the Masonic Order or the Eastern Stars. I'm promoting self-knowledge. Okay? I'm not asking you to join anything. Okay? So don't get this confused with some order and organization. Looking for another particular page here that I think I marked it. My intent was to mark it. This was done so that I wouldn't waste time looking for it. Okay. Okay. These are some of the players in the book of Esther. The first conspicuous thing after reading those 4 pages referred to as the book of Esther that you'll take note of is the name God, the word God, and the many names of the Hebrew concept of God are not in the book of Esther. None of them, including Jesus. So for the biblical reader, it becomes interesting, mundane, moral reading about the good and the bad, the overcoming and the victory, so that what is there is not seen by simply pragmatic looking. The key to getting into this book is Esther's name. Okay? By equating it, first of all, with the star, then with the concept East. From her name comes both East and star. Hence, it's at the head of the concept of Eastern Star. Okay? Okay. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. That in those days when the King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces, being before him. First thing you do is break down or find the definition of the name Ahasuerus. The only place that I know of it being is in this Metaphysical Dictionary by Charles Fillmore, who founded the Unity Metaphysical White School. And I put that in there for a particular reason, because he collaborates with the Western theologians to divide this book between black and white, Egypt and the Hebrew. Okay? That's not Egypt over there. Those are Arabs over there. That's Africa. Okay? That's where your ancestors ruled for over 100,000 years. This book is about two groups of people. Neither one of them are Arabs, and neither one of them are what they're calling Jews. The Hebrew, Haribu, was a black man and woman. The so-called Egyptian, or Kimite, is a black man and woman. I heard a brother was trying to tell him something about Black Man of the Nile and We the Black Jews by Yosef Ben Yochanan one afternoon. He was working in the parking lot over at Georgia State. And he had a book about the Holocaust. You know. This is well, he was a colored fellow. You know. Yeah, I heard about that. I was reading about the Jewish Holocaust. I was just, this boy about to cry, you know. This is a Negro, you know, who had heard nothing obviously about almost 50 million Africans that the Europeans slaughtered, taking them out of Africa into Europe. Okay. He crying about some people that don't even look like him and don't even like him. If you want to know the truth, shit, that ain't no secret. You know? We got so much misplaced. You see, if you want to know why our children don't give a damn about us, the reason is they look like us. And we don't give a damn about them because we look like them. That's what you call self-hatred. And that's not going to go away on television, in the movies. That's in our subconscious. And we have to dig it out. Person by person by person. And it begins with self-knowledge. not with a wonderful sermon about Jesus. Black folks in the church have got as big an inferiority complex as those who don't go to church. Being black is the best damn thing ever happened to you down here. And you already see it. It is going to get worse. You're going to see white folks burning up in the damn sun. You're going to be so glad you're black, you're going to kiss your own feet. And that's not to make fun of people. That's what I'm trying to do. My work is to get this thing turned out of your subconscious. See? When you look in the mirror, look in there and see what you see. Just look in it. For more than 30 seconds. Most folks don't even look, except pretty women. They look at themselves a long time. They stay in the mirror. Look at your nose. Look at your lips. Look at your skin. The longer you look at yourself, the better you're going to look to yourself. It's amazing. You know, it is amazing how beautiful we are. You know, and it happens in your own brain. It makes it wonderful. You see? And the more you think of the outside, then you've got to wonder, well, if I got all this outside, what could it be inside? And oh boy, and the Creator done hooked you all the way up. This is a wonderful body of knowledge. I mean, you know, when you know this, there's little or no reason to be unhappy with yourself. None whatsoever. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Remember I told some brothers in one lecture, well, what about the light-skinned people? I said, well, nature has made you into gold. See, that's what you reflect. You see? Oh, Father, I thank thee for my hidden skin. Because inside, after the Spirit pours on this rich black oil, he pours on a golden complexion that looks like the light-skinned brother and the light-skinned sister. You see? But you got to go inside to really appreciate what's going on outside. That's the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. As without, so within. You see? But you can't do it ignorantly. You have to have self-knowledge. And the difference between information and knowledge is knowledge changes your consciousness. Information just keeps you aware and alert. But knowledge makes something move out of the way and some light comes on. You understand something about yourself that day that you didn't understand yesterday. That's when you gain knowledge, self-knowledge. Okay. I'm delaying my lecture here, but this is all tied in with getting to the appreciation of self. My reasons for doing this is not to illuminate the wonders and wonderment of the scriptures, but to illuminate the wonders and wonderment of yourself. We're going to look at the name Ahasuerus, the king. King means authority. Does anybody know what queen means? How about soul? Now keep in mind, I explained that the name, the word, and the names of God are not in the book of Esther. That's a very important key, that they're all omitted. Ahasuerus, lion, king. The metaphysical meaning, now, let me leave that alone because I get mad at Fillmore for exposing stuff and then turn around and hide it again. You know, very good at that, you know, give you half of it. and then take the rest of it and stick it away, you know. The symbol of the lion is what? Anybody know? Majesty. Okay. Is the key there. And majesty includes power, not just authority. It's one thing to have authority, it's another thing to have power. If the king has authority and has no sons, he has no princes. If he has no princes, he has no principles. If he has no principles, he has no power. Okay? Principles and princes means power. Okay? Same concept with sons. So we're establishing this authority of Ahasuerus as the lion or lion king, one who is majestic and also one who has authority. Now here's the argument going on in this book. He is inviting her, his queen, who is Vashti, his name here, Persian word. Let me read you the definition of Vashti. Vashti, Persian, beauty, Bella, beautiful, fair, lovely. The Persian queen of Ahasuerus, she was disposed because of her refusal to obey the king's order that she should appear unveiled before the princes and the people that they might see her beauty. Okay? Vashti represents external beauty. Okay? And that's important in this symbological story that's about to unfold here. Now, the other key is the king sends 7 of his chamberlain first to insist or carry the order that Vashti, the queen, comes before his court. The chamberlain are eunuchs. Okay? I won't even get into the 7 names because it simply tells you about the housing of. These are the caretakers. And the caretakers in the physical body are the 7 bone structures in the body. They have no power. They have no authority. They speak from the authority of the king. She refuses to respond to his request through them. Then he judges her based upon the 7 princes. Okay, now all of these names essentially make reference to some part of 7 psychic abilities that the Eastern Star acquires when she gains her degrees. Okay, I won't go through every name like I had planned it. You can read this book, but without a metaphysical dictionary, it's not going to make very much sense. The prince of Persia and Media is mentioned 3 times in the book. It is never mentioned the prince of or the king of Persia or the prince or the king of Media, because it makes reference not to the territories but to a particular realm. The psychic realm of mind is what this reference is towards in this particular expose. 7 is the number of physical perfection. 7 is the number of spiritual power. 7 is the number of wisdom. 7 also is the number of the chakras that are paramount from the crown of your head to the end of your vertebrae, your sacral vertebrae. And the word sacral is also the word sacred, scared, and most importantly, secret. Whenever you hear the word sacred, it means secret. Why you cannot go into the Holy of Holies. You know, not because it's holier than thou, because therein are secrets that the commoner was not allowed to know. The next major player in this group is Mordecai, the uncle of Esther. So I think I'll read the meaning of the name Mordecai. Little man or mannequin of Merodach, dedicated to Mars, crushed by rebellion. So you turn to Merodach in terms of getting a further translation of Mordecai. M-E-R instead of M-O-R. Merodach, Mars, god of blood and slaughter, god of war. Mars, under the name of Merodach, was worshipped by the ancient Babylonians and Semites. Human sacrifices were offered to this god, hence Mars became the god of war or blood and slaughter. Merodach was also used as a title or surname of some of the kings of Babylon. So the concept Merodach represents that of a god, of a fighting god, a fighting force. In the metaphysical, it is not the concept fighting in the body, but the blood fights in the body. Okay? It's supposed to kill off all of the diseases that attacks or affects the body for ill health. But the blood will attack your own heart. That's what a heart attack is. It is not something in the body other than the blood that hits, affects, rips, tears, or shatters some part of the human heart. It's represented by Merodach, the uncle of Esther. And the further appreciation of Esther's name is found under this concept of Mordecai. So he is the uncle of victorious truth and spiritual power working within, I think is the major key to be found in Mordecai's presentation of name here. Okay? Now what transpires is that Vashti disobeys the king, and one of the 7 princes who have authority brings a decree to the king about his queen Vashti, that she should be banned from the kingdom because of her disobedience, lest all women in that province will be disobedient and disrespectful to their men. So Vashti, the queen, is fired, okay, which leaves the door open for another appointed queen who happens to become Esther. Now, I don't know if you can still find this particular dictionary or not. The Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths by G.R. Gaskell is the author's name. Okay. This is the definition he provides for Esther's name here in story form, so I'm going to give you a part of this. The goddess Ishtar appears as Esther in the book of Esther when Mordecai, it may be noted, is a derivative from Merodach, the god. Merodach was the divine man freed from the limitations of our mortal existence. When Nebuchadnezzar prays to Merodach, he calls him supreme in earth and heaven, omnipotent and creator of all things. The sacred symbols in the book of Esther are to be understood as follows. The King Ahaz signifies the supreme or unmanifested self. And Merodach is the higher or manifest self gradually evolving in the soul. The first queen, Vashti, is a symbol of the divine principle, the Christ mind as it would be in Christian theology, retiring into obscurity at the time of the feast, when the lower qualities, that is people, enter the mind or soul. The second queen, Esther, represents the divine principle becoming manifest in the human being and operating secretly on or in the lower nature. The Jews are the higher qualities. Now keep in mind, I've explained this. That does not mean people, first thing. Secondly, it certainly does not mean those in Israel. The word Jew means jewels, okay? The concept jewels are those of your illumined, healed first and illumined glands in your body. Those are a part of your jewels, okay? That's major key in terms of getting this stuff out of our head. And we still do this. The Judeo-Christian concept still has us thinking that there's something special about those people in Israel as versus the rest of the human race. And damn it, even got them thinking that. And of course, those who have any amount of self-knowledge know better. And thirdly, though it has nothing to do with the lecture, the real Israelites were black. The real Hebrews, so-called Hebrews, I think I'm trying to do too much, fill in too many slots here, along with what I wanted to do with this lecture. That's a Greek word. You don't have to believe me. Look in your dictionary. That's what that means. You'll find her web on the back of the $1 bill. And after you find it, then I should tell you it's the zodiac. Already explained this is what Jew means. What are you doing? What are you waving? Oh, okay. Jew means jewel. You'll find in Malachi chapter 3 and in Revelations, those that say that they are Jews and are not of the synagogue of Satan the devil, has nothing to do with people. It has to do with spoiled, ruined, distorted glands in the body that have you doing dumb stuff and groveling in the ground. These are the parts of the body that makes you a slave to the earth. the distorted glandular system in the human body. When they are healed, quickened, and illumined, they shine like jewels. In fact, they shine better than jewels. Okay. That's the essence of the first concept of 12. Why you have 12 disciples, why you have 12 sons of Jacob, why you have 12 apostles, 12 stars, 12 gates, and you go on and on and on with the 12 from Genesis to Revelations in the Bible. There are 66 books in the Bible. 6 and 6 is 12. Okay. Okay, let me try to get back here. This is a little bit more difficult for me to do than I realized because there's so many missing parts. I'm supposed to be doing this for a class, a group of people that's supposed to be taking a 12-week course. And this is at the end of. But I intended to do this for black women for Mother's Day and still didn't get the opportunity, didn't get a chance to do it when I was over on the West End because I got so perturbed about this little bit of tokenism that's given to the black woman in the black church on Mother's Day, that Sunday anyway. Give her a flower and applaud her and stuff. She doesn't know a damn thing more about herself than she did before she came in there. I mean, it's stupid stuff, you know? When this book is filled up with spiritual nature and human nature divine and in direct reference to who you are, what you are, and where you are, and the black family is not getting it. And the majority of black Christians who go to church on Sunday are black women. If you don't believe me, close your eyes and go into any black church and then open them and start counting. They're on the bottom of everything and know less about themselves even than the dumb brother in there, and he don't know much of nothing. And I'm talking even about the black Mason. He don't know that much himself. I thought he did. I'm through making contributions to what I'm assuming, including that whole bunch of ignorant knucklehead Moors call themselves Moor Science Templars who don't know doodly squat. I'm through holding their asses up. I don't know what Noble Drew Ali knew. I really don't. I made some assumptions. Some assumptions that even C.M. Bay didn't make in his school of thought. Well, I've stopped making them. As I mentioned early on this tape, I'm not teaching more science anymore. I'm teaching zodiac science. You know, and most of it come from this book here, because this is the only book we got. This one here. This is the only book black folks got. You go to any 98.9 black homes, houses, and apartments. The dictionary may not be in there, but this one will. You know? And we understand it least of all. And you're talking about the Arabs will die for Allah. Black folks will die for this. Of course, that's called heroic suicide, is what it's called. But again, my intent is to erase as much of self-ignorance as possible and to put in as much self-knowledge as possible. From that illustrious point within you, your higher, true nature shines through, not to somebody else first, to you. You have to learn to love yourself. Well, how do you do that? You can't learn love, but you can learn to know yourself. And if you know yourself, then you can be true to yourself. And from that concentration point of focus comes love. That's the miracle of your nature. Your willingness to love yourself allows love to embrace you. Not a man rubbing you all on your big booty, your baby, you know I love you. But from within yourself is where divine love is. That transforms you and makes you OD. Love alone can do it. But you have to be willing to become God. Not fearing to become. That doesn't mean you become the creator. I used to think I had to say that till I heard the one brother say, I am the big G and you are the little G. Y'all don't get that nigga off that podium. He done got big as the universe. He the big G. Because it don't take but 2 books to get there. You read 2 books and you think you got it all. I've come to create all things. I am he who can. Well, the human ego is a total trip. You think you've been on a trip with some drugs. Get on the ego trip. Take you all the way out there. Okay, I'm gonna briefly underline this whole story in terms of, I've already explained on the tape Esther and the meaning of Esther, which is the essence of this particular tape. And the essence of finding this concept of goddess in this book. Key factor. The accreditation of a Mary does not do it for black Christian women. They're not trying to become Mary because they know they can't have a divine virgin birth of a child. And I heard the one say, hell, who the hell want one? You know, she want a man. You know. What I'm saying here is the theology of the Western Hemisphere, not just Christianity, all of it in the West has neglected to tell the woman who she is spiritually. Except in the esoteric hidden school of privileged knowledge, where the concept mother as ma and son makes up the coined concept of Mason. See? In this particular book, the unfolding of the power and authority and ability that is bestowed on Esther is reminiscent of divine nature being bestowed on the common woman as a term, which is an illusion. There's no such thing as a common black woman. Okay? There's such a statement as an undiscovered black woman. There's nothing common about you at all, except your fears and your lack of self-knowledge. That only you as an individual can rid yourself of by putting on the mind of God. You begin there with self-knowledge. Okay. Let me read on further here from G.R. Gaskell's Dictionary of All Scriptures and All Myths. You may still be able to get this out there somewhere. I don't quite know where to tell you to go to pick it up. It's been out and in and out of print quite a few times in quite a few years.